Hey,
Hello.
everybody.
Welcome,
Hey,
Wilson.
Wilson.
So, Wilson, just a bit of background
Thanks.
for others. I met just very recently, a few weeks ago, skiing actually, but we had a really great chance to meet on a Sunday morning, a quiet Sunday morning at the accommodation where we were sharing and had a really God moment chat. I think, yeah. So, and it was to do, you were talking about the people that you work with in church, in particular youth and young adults, and you've kind of gone on a bit of this journey of realizing or wanting to create that space for the youth and the kids just to talk and to be vulnerable with each other, and like facilitating more so than leading them and asking them what's the answers to these questions and make sure you know the Bible. I just wanted to ask you, like, how is that going, and do you feel that the younger and the youth generation is in that same space that I guess us slightly older generation might be feeling?
Yeah, I'd agree with your summary. Definitely thinking through with the different studies and groups that I'm a part of and leading, and trying to contribute and get alongside these kids. What that looks like to actually break through and talk to them, and not just to teach them things about the Bible. Because I've been reflecting a little bit on kids that walk away from the faith. And it's really, really, really hard to kind of see these kids do that. And I know that these are kids that have, if you sat them down for like a Sunday school lesson, they could get the answers, but they just don't have like the relationship with Jesus. And so I've been thinking a lot about how we can show our own relationship and share that and witness that with the kids while we go through a Bible study, or while we run a youth program. And so, I mean, I've been talking to you for a few weeks, so I haven't had that much time to implement it. But I think one like practical thing, or two, actually, I'll do the first one. I kind of rewrote a Bible study that was written for me, and kind of just asked people to share what are like three things that you struggle with the most in your Christian walk. And to set the tone, I had to share first, right? And the deeper I went meant that the other guys in the group also could kind of meet that and kind of break through those social barriers. And so we had a really, really lovely chat where people could really be open, which I guess in my church, it's hard to do that in a Bible study just because we're very focused on reading and understanding what God is saying to us. And so it was kind of like holding those two things at the same time, which actually can make that more effective and speak into our lives more. And then secondly, thinking through a youth program on a Sunday morning for years 6 to 8. This week, I've got a leading that's coming and is going to share something that they're struggling with their faith, or they're going to do their testimony, or just thinking about something that they can share that is open and vulnerable, that shows their faith, which is related to the study and what we're studying, but it's just putting it into practice in that example. So there's kind of different things that I'm playing around with at the moment and thoughts that I'm chucking around, if that helps.
No, that's so good. And Danny, can you put your video back on? I don't want to put you on stage if it's just going to be da.
Sorry.
There you are.
Wilson, you're a legend. I love what you just shared. Did you guys see my message then?
No.
Did you see the message come through?
Yeah, they're all good. It's really good.
I was trying to
encourage.
I just wanted to encourage Wilson, yeah, because I loved the leading in vulnerability, and knowing who told you to do that. Did you work that out yourself?
Yeah, I think
Wilson, you know how you said that you thought, oh, I know that I need to go deep, otherwise they won't. How did you know that?
I think it was modeled for me by a few different people, and I think it was reinforced by my own experience of I really love deep conversations. I'm not a big fan of kind of small talk, and so I always searching for those deep conversations. And And the easiest and the fastest way to do that is to just be open about something. And then it's a lot easier for someone to say, oh, I struggle with that as well, rather than them opening up to you cold turkey. Like, it's never going to happen. And so you to just cut through everything, you kind of have to take that first step yourself. Is kind of what I found. And even just sharing, if they don't share anything back, it still helps you like so much for being open and verbalizing something, and just searching and going after it. I think it's just been helpful. Yeah.
That's so, it's beautiful that it's intuitive for you, Wilson. I think you're you would say you're an introvert by nature and quiet spoken, and yet when you it's so precious having people in the midst who just are like you, that will offer a vulnerable moment and open a space for people. I wanted to also I wanted to bring, I don't know, Michelle, if you want to come onto stage, particularly you've got older kids, teenagers, adults, young adults now. And I feel like for me, with kids that are a little bit younger as well, part of my thing is how do we engage, and how do young people engage with one another, in a way that, again, helps them bring out their faith. Are they there, and are they at that place, or is it kind of not really on their minds? But yeah, can you put your hand up? Let me see if I can. I don't know what the rules of this are, but people put their hand up. Unless she's gone. Maybe she's gone. Oh no, there she is. Share a group model. How do we do that? Show on stage. I think Kinsen. Is that right, Kinsen? I'm confused what you want to do, Michelle. I'll invite you to stage and you can tell us what you want to do. Okay, yes, Kinsen, you can be next. All right, here comes Michelle. Hi, Michelle. Thanks for coming onto stage. Are you there?
Oh, hi. Yes, sorry. It's dinner time, so there is some rustling in the background. So I kind of got half your question and not the other half.
Oh, that's right. My question was to do with you being a mum of young adults, young teenagers, in particular, with Wilson kind of working with young people as well, and setting a place and a space where he first is vulnerable and sharing stuff. So not just sharing the answers as leaders, but being able to kind of open the space for young people to chat. I feel like Danny and I are both getting more and more passionate about this space, about how do we, and when they're young people, peers, re-engage each other in faith. Like, how do you do that one as a mum? And are your kids open to it? And how do you work at it to keep them open? Like, what does it look like for you?
Oh, gee. That's a lot of questions. I think, vulnerability seems to be a bit of a theme here. And I'm not sure if anyone's seen Brene Brown, who is kind of like the, kind of the secular or 21st century kind of role model, who's really, brought the topic of vulnerability, not just, in these church conversations, but even in corporate and work settings, about how important it is. And I think that really is just the approach that we're taking with our kids. Like, we're all on a journey here. And as Rowan said, no one has, I don't know what the answers are. And I don't really think it is very much something that we need to evolve and work out together. We've never been here before as a generation, as a church, as a family. These past few years have been very disruptive and very, I don't know, just really significant, I guess. And so, we have three children. One's an adult, and the other two are teenagers. And even the three of them, they're at very different ages, very different stages, and on very different journeys. And what we are learning is that just, I think, being open and honest about where we are, as as parents, as a family, is really important. And just because it's going to be a journey that we're going to have to communicate and, just keep those lines of communication open for is probably the most important thing right now for us, because, certainly with our child who is at uni now, she's just at that real point, as we've shared before, where, she wants guidance and she doesn't want the parental advice, or she doesn't want to be told what to do. And so just respecting her and respecting her journey that she's now on and that she has to work out as an adult, I think is really important. And so, I don't know. I think I don't have a formula or anything, but I think just, vulnerability, open communication, and really just prayer, I think is really something that we are trying to keep, well, not trying to keep, but is, really important, because again, who knows? God knows. God is sovereign. God is on the throne. God is not surprised by any of this. And just really trusting and believing that he does have a greater purpose for all of us in this, in how we do things differently. God is the most creative being there is. And so if this is what it took to kind of shake off, kind of get rid of all the boxes and the barriers and the preconceived ideas and the expectations and the just the frameworks even that we've had for what a Christian looks like in 21st century, I think, it's an exciting time to be alive, but it's also quite daunting, and it is lonely. And I think just being open and honest about that is a start, right? And then just doing it together. I don't know if that answered your question.
No, that was amazing. I think what's resonating is this sense of, as parents, if you're a parent watching this or in this, it's having that we can't outsource. That's one thing I've learned from COVID. We don't outsource the raising of our children in the faith to the church, or to programs or to a syllabus of learning the Bible. It's really us as parents that have have that responsibility and creating margin in my life as a mum, as an entrepreneur, as a person who's runs businesses. I'm like, that's been it's come home so hard to me, just to be there for the kids. And so I think what you're doing is beautiful, Mish, and just walking with them now that they're adults and just letting God, but having that communication is beautiful. Danny, do you have any thoughts with that?
I just love that Michelle's being real, and that like echoing what Rowan said about we don't have solutions, and when we try to make it too neat, or if we are a couple or a family, go, we've got it all together, we've worked out this, you tend to switch off because you think there's no way it could be that simple. And what Michelle said as well, it's a bit of a journey to go, I'm going to work this out as we go with people, and you said to do that together. And I think that's why I'm actually really excited about this time as well in life. I think it's exactly what you said, Michelle. It's daunting. Sometimes I'm like, what is going on? Like, are we on the brink of war? Like, what's happening here? What's going to happen? Like, what our so-called little jobs in our world could be turned over in a moment. We could get news of a health scare in our family. It's like, how much control do we really have? And it's really kind of, I guess, settling on that and going, God is sovereign. Okay, and day by day, and be open. So that's what, I'm encouraged, Michelle.
Thanks, Michelle. I might just grab Kinsen, if you want to jump onto stage, and something to share. Is that right? There you are.